New DNA technology may soon allow people to 3D print their face from a saliva swab. Huh? Every year, thousands of major crimes go unsolved. Imagine if police could gather DNA evidence at a crime scene and within minutes to hours turn that sample into a 3D model of the person's face that the DNA belongs to. Police would then be able to know very accurately what that person looks like from just about every angle. This is actually what one researcher named Mark Shriver of Pennsylvania State University has been working on. See, if we're also talking about robots taking over, this technology is very dangerous. Sure, you can say yes, police can use this to find criminals, whether or not the criminal is actually a person who committed a crime, or like if it was a person just on the scene and happens to leave some DNA behind. I also feel like DNA to facial recognition is interesting. Of course, your DNA, print is unique and your face is pretty unique. But to link one to the other and say you can build up a face from a thing of spit, I feel like you can maybe get a general idea of what shape their dome might be in. Fraudsters will capitalize on the shift to digital. According to the FTC, a COVID-related scam that started on social media cost consumers $117 million in the first 6 months of 2020 alone. With so many businesses scrambling to bring their offerings online during the pandemic, it created a host of new vulnerabilities for criminals to exploit. The volume of scams is expected to increase in 2021, and fraudsters are getting more creative. In its 2021 Future of Fraud forecast, Experian predicted that this year's scams will run the gamut from standard fraud schemes to convincing deepfakes. Frankenstein IDs are terrifying new technology of bypassing facial recognition technology that allows scammers to piece together facial characteristics to create an entirely new identity. Yeah, all of our money's digital now, right? Cash is out, so anything that you're holding there, you got to be careful with. Change your passwords. Don't use the same one for everything. I feel like crypto scams are gonna be the next big thing. Somebody will convince you to buy a bunch of NFTs or crypto stocks and then fleece you, just absolutely run you for what you're worth, and then you're sitting there like, boy, I bought all this stuff that's on the blockchain. I wonder what it's worth. Hello everybody and welcome back to Top 10 Central Dark, your place for all things horror. I'm your host Keegan Hughes, and today we're taking a look at the top 10 scary 2022 predictions that might come true. We're approaching the halfway point of 2021 already. I don't know how that happened. I feel like I'm still in March of 2020, I feel like all the life I've lived since then, doesn't count, Is that just me? We'll see. We'll see what happens in 2022, if it all catches up to us or if we get a nice redo. Who knows? For now, let's get to these predictions. Colonization of Mars. Marge is not thrilled when Lisa volunteers for a future one-way trip to Mars, so she volunteers to go with her. In fact, hoping to dissuade Lisa, the whole family signs up. The idea behind Exploration Incorporated's expedition to colonize the Red Planet before 2026, a date that moves up to the end of the week. The takeoff fails, but Lisa and Marge make it to Mars in 2051, only for Lisa to announce that she wants to move to Venus. While Elon Musk's SpaceX is currently developing Mars-bound cargo flights for as early as 2022, fully colonizing Mars would require an out-of-this-world budget. Yeah, I'd say so. That's going to be expensive. I feel like anything in the 2020s on its way to Mars that isn't rovers is a little far-fetched, if we're being totally honest. Maybe, but I feel like a lot of people are still developing the proper technology to bring things that aren't just exploratory to the Red Planet. But I feel like we could maybe focus on some of the issues on Earth before we start sending people to Mars, Something tells me that, we could use some of this space-bound technology to make things a little easier for the folks on the green planet, on the blue planet. Large-scale environmental disaster. The Simpsons movie tackles a massive environmental disaster that most definitely could happen, but fixes it in a truly implausible way. In the 2007 film, Homer dumps pig feces into the already dangerously polluted Springfield Lake, causing an environmental crisis. To keep the town's contamination contained, the president encloses Springfield under a giant glass dome. Can the deadly levels of contaminated water happen? Hell yes, and as it has many times, but no glass domes yet. I think it's too late for a glass dome. We're on the cusp of worldwide ecological collapse. We are about to fall fast, and we're doing nothing about it. It's a little scary to think about. That the next 50 years could be just absolutely terrifying, depending on what gets done. I don't think a glass dome's gonna help anybody, unless that glass dome is one levitating above the clouds. ESA and NASA will try to smash an asteroid out of its orbit in 2022. The European Space Agency and NASA have a good understanding of the importance of finding and hopefully avoiding asteroids, and they're joining forces on an asteroid impact and deflection assessment mission called IDA. The objective of this mission is awesome: to slam a spacecraft into an asteroid with as much force as possible and see what happens. Yeah, that is pretty sweet. I like this better than the other predictions, just on coolness alone, just on wickedness and awesomeness and radness. But does it have to be a spaceship? Couldn't we come up with something cooler, like a giant arm with a baseball bat? Or maybe some sort of enormous fly swatter? Although, I mean, we made spacecraft, yes, but what's more human than hitting stuff with sticks, right? Many will opt to stay remote. Along with the scramble to digitize everything, 2020 has also forced the largest mass exodus from offices and schools the world has ever seen. While many have already returned to the workplace, companies such as Facebook, Google, and Zillow have announced that they are preparing for permanent remote work. Much to parents' relief, virtual school won't be permanent, at least not for young children, but many high schools and universities plan to keep students remote for the spring semester. Even when the vaccine is widely available, the remote learning trend could continue into 2022 and beyond. According to a recent report, more than 50% of college students now prefer online classes because of their flexibility. This could lead to a surge in students enrolling in hybrid or fully online programs. That's true. I remember reading up a lot about this in university. I was taking sociology courses, and online learning was something they were pushing really hard, and then development was approaching where it needed to be, and then COVID hit, right? And then they kind of just hopped that gap. It's not perfect by any means, but it works. Young kids, I feel like it's a bit of a nightmare, but if they're going to spend their whole lives online anyway, I mean, start them young, right? Jeez. Hover cars. Back in 2005, Professor Frink invented a machine that allowed Bart and Lisa to see into their future, as in 2013. Marge left Homer because he blew through their savings on an underwater house and spent what he had left over on a hover car. Although the ride is bumpy, it's a prototype, it does get them through a quantum tunnel. How close is that vision to coming true? In 2017, Renault created a futuristic-looking concept car called Float that could move in any direction without turning. The same technology is being used in Tesla's Hyperloop train design. I don't trust people in hover cars. I don't think humans can be trusted to pilot an easily accessible vehicle that can move in all directions like that. I don't trust it one bit. Even air traffic controllers with years of experience, steely nerves, and a responsibility to everyone around them, they still sometimes make mistakes. With all of the car accidents and drunk drivers and people that are just generally bad at piloting a vehicle out there right now that I see all the time, imagine giving them more directions to go in. That is spelling disaster. Robots take over. The Simpsons predicted mass automation in 2012 with robots taking over jobs of many humans, which many believe is already happening. But a robot coup was launched on long before that. In a 1994 episode of Itchy and Scratchy Land, the family visited a theme park manned with robots that go off the rails and kill everybody. Jürgen Schmidhuber, also known as the father of artificial intelligence, believes that AI superintelligence will trigger runaway technological growth and profound changes to civilization in just 30 years. 30 years since when? Since the 1994 episode of Itchy and Scratchy Land? Because we're getting close then, if that's the case. Automation is happening. There's a lot of automation going on right now. We could automate a bunch of stuff just to make lives really easy, or at least easier, less dangerous, more safe. Or it could be automation it's the Industrial Revolution 2.0, where the people who own the things that do the automation just keep making money and everyone else gets to live in squalor. I'm ready for the robot takeover, because once Skynet comes through, I'm not gonna John Connor it. I'm going to kid against the fence at the, at the playground. And I'm gonna turn into a flaming skeleton. World population forecasted to reach 7 billion? Is that a bill or no? It's a bill. So 7,914,763,000. That is a lot of people. I'm looking at this graph. It's been a while since I've taken data management, but it's a lot of people. We as humans, you know, we're smart, we're resourceful. We can conjure up the resources with automation to make it work. The suppression of green energy. In the 582nd episode of The Simpsons, Lisa invents a car powered by solar energy to race in the alternative energy derby, only for the Duff blimp to block out the sun, making her vehicle stop dead inches from the finish line. Weird coincidence, or a message about a large company sabotaging the progression of green renewable energy for corporate interests? Well, isn't that why it took us so long to get, like, proper electric cars? Like, I feel like fossil fuels have been shown time and time again to, like, not super be worth it in the long run, and if we can develop other things, probably for the best, but there's big money in that industry, and the longer they can hold on to that with their greasy, oily fingers, then for sure they will. That's why we're heading towards a large-scale environmental disaster. The average layperson isn't causing this. It's all these folks who are making more money than you can imagine on their investments in not-so-green technology. And that is all the time we have for today, folks. Hopefully these futuristic predictions didn't scare you too much. Hopefully they're not too close to coming true. You know, hopefully we get like 5 or 6 more years before the real downhill trip. But hey, we'll see. In the meantime, stick around for some bloopers. I'm probably saying some questionable stuff. And let me know what you're thinking about 2022 in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. No video, so no headphones. Nice. But, you know, what's that thing in Japan? They talked about it on, what's that stupid anime with Jaden Smith and the guy from Vampire Weekend? Neo Yokio. Hikikomori? Is that it? Where people just like stay inside forever. They decide that they're never gonna leave their homes again and just hang out there because it's easier. This is really scary stuff that we're talking about today. This is no cryptids, no SCPs. We're going with the world will end and it's our fault. Cash cow, or I guess no, the pig is from the movie, not the episode. Cash pig. Marge is not thrilled. We're totally doing Simpsons predictions. These are just like predictions, but this is all Simpsons, eh?